is great is actually, I feel like she sequenced it in a portion that's really just focused on like helping us breathe better, because that's what we struggle with so much. So, you guys give me a second. I feel like this was the only one I didn't write down because I wanted to double check it this morning.
What book are you referencing?
Relax and Renew. It's a Judith Lassiter book. And yeah, it's just 2 blankets. That's what it's on. So, 2 single folded blankets. This is the book she recommended. She's got a Restore book as well, but I find this to be like much more accessible. She's updated some things since then, so I think that maybe the Restore book will have it, but this is like streamlined, accessible postures, and she gives great like points to how and how long and like what we're trying to do. So here I feel like yes, okay, great. So your hips and your shoulders should be off of the ground. So you might need more blankets, you might need like different folds, but the idea is to open up. And anybody? I'll make it. Yeah, come on over. And so the legs you're gonna come onto your side, you're gonna actually scissor your legs a little bit so they're not, yes. And then you'll come on, and we're gonna, you got that mobility, girl. Okay. And then start to lay down on top of it, and we can bring you up just a bit more.
Hips and shoulders.
Why not a bolster?
Not that you couldn't use a bolster. No, I don't. I find that the blankets have a little bit more of a like give with the shape versus the structure of a bolster. So
Yeah.
and then actually you'll sit back up.
More
Good.
blankets versus a bolster.
Yeah. There we go. And then you're gonna come back up and slightly. So I want to try to get your hips slightly. Yes, there you go. Now lean, lean, lean. And so we're trying to get our hips just a little bit elevated. So your right leg forward, your left leg back, right knee, your left knee bent. Yes, there you go. And then we can just kind of drape the arm, yeah, and the head can kind of hang there. And this one you wouldn't hold for nearly as long. But the idea is we're just trying to open the side ribs a little bit. And then you can kind of give them some ideas, props, options on like where, but the head can rest on the arm. The shoulders off, so at the top of the shoulders should be like kind of softening, and we're just kind of settling into this space. And you give them a few minutes this way, you give them a few minutes on the other side. We're just really trying to create this space where there's just opening, and then there's just a little bit of room right here between the outer top part of our greater, well, your trochanter is a little bit lower, but like the tip top of your pelvis is up off the ground. So, how you doing?
The block under the hands, the top hand.
Yeah, I mean, and then what you could do is bring the block over here. She could rest her left hand on it if she wanted.
Yeah, that was what she's doing.
Yeah. So it's like,
That's very hard.
so it's like not for everybody's shoulder. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So then you can bring at least like the left.
You make it look
yeah.
easy for
Yes,
sure.
Yeah. So, and the legs are slightly apart, not completely together, and they're kind of, she can adjust like which leg forward, which leg back, but this one goes back, the top leg usually behind, because then it gives it a little more long room. If it goes forward, then it would have shifted her pelvis a little bit more that way. We want it to stay open and back. Yeah? Questions? So the hips and shoulders, we're trying to give them, so that's why you add as many layers as you can if you have all the props. But otherwise it's just the shoulders off and the hip might stay down, but we're trying to open up the ribs. Lovely, thank you. Then last, we invert and we back bend. Who wants this puppy?
Yeah.
literally
Put it on my butt.
where the crack is.
Put your crack on the crack.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Such an auspicious question.
Wow. Where do you want my
Where
butt?
my
So
butt
your
go?
head, your ponytail will have to go.
Bye, R.I.P.
See ya. Bye.
I love a good hairography in class.
My what?
Hairography, like everyone do this with your hair.
And then your legs lifted, please. Slightly. Okay, thank you. And then let your legs go along.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that 4 legs?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Already, my question, Purvi, is if someone has broader hips, would you have them like have two bolsters side by side for their legs? Like if one bolster feels super narrow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. You just broadened it all.
Okay.
Yeah. But this is slight inversion. Or we would have done it slightly earlier. It's a back bend. I just affected my sequencing, but this would give us a chance to kind of invert. I do prefer inversions at the end, so it doesn't mean you can't do it with the back bend. Deeper with the Karani, we're gonna have to save it for like the major training because it's got so many components to it. There just wasn't gonna be the kind of dialogue and conversation to go through it. But the idea is that now her heart is above her head. Her hips are slightly, and you can even lift like this portion of this up a little bit more if you wanted to give her any support. Stonehenge is another version, which we kind of like build a block tower or like blanket tower, then lay a bolster on top of it. She could bend her knees, and then her femurs could get vertical. So, but the idea is to support her spine and get it in towards this space, and then find the back bend in the upper ribs. And then her shoulders are forward, but her throat's opening. So that way this collarbone's expanding just a bit more. And yeah. Any questions? Her legs are slightly elevated, not significantly. They're kind of in the same plane, it feels like, as the rest of her spine. And so that's where you could also, can you bend your knees slightly? Thank you. And then, okay, there you go. Can I use that bolster, please? Calves on top of that.
Oh, yep. I like it.
Now we got a little bit more. Yeah. And then technically, really, I would probably
Maybe one more.
could you lift your legs just a little bit more? Yeah. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That. Right there.
Yes.
Or the party on poles.
Yeah, her whole version is
That's my favorite.
Yeah. So it's like, and it just gives, it's so interesting what we do when our, this downward regulation occurs and then we suddenly get inverted. And we talked, it was a main point in what I wanted to really share with you guys is the inversion is really important. Because especially if you're doing like a full class, whether it be restorative or yin or whatever, give them a chance to do that. Chairs, when we'll do the big training, we'll be talking about chairs and tables and other props that we can use. Hinges on doorknobs with doorknobs and straps to help you in down dog fine release, and that's an inversion, and how that can just be a really hanging I know.
We need more
Straps and
doors.
blocks.
I know we need more doors.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how do you feel, Meg?
Right?
Yeah.
And this is where Meg would be.
Yeah.
Right? My leg was bothering me, so I was like,
Keep trying to
And then, 5-10 minutes here, and she's all done. And then you move her to that basic relaxation pose for 10 or 20 minutes. So getting down, this one gets to be